Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your week ahead tarot scope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Saggy, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So this week you have the moon card. All right, so the moon card can sometimes be about confusion. Very often it's about the past, and very, very often it means it's, see, when we say confusion, it's just such a broad term. It's usually that there's kind of like, you're not clear. You don't have all the information. You're not seeing it properly. Maybe you've got your rose tinted glasses on with something. And this week, I don't feel like it's any of those. I actually feel like this week, you've got so many options on the table that actually are viable that you're kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't know, like, you know, like I could do this, and it's like they're all viable options. They're all possible and they all lead to good roads, but there's a confusion about which sort of, you know, it's almost like, well, I can see how this would be good for what I'm trying to do, or I can see how that's a great opportunity for X, Y, and Z, but there's no, it's almost like you're lacking an anchor this week, which is really strange because as the archer, you fix yourself, your eye, your energy, your emotion, whatever it is, on a single point, and you fire that arrow home. The challenge that I think you have this week is discovering what that is, right? So it's like, until you have a target, you can't hit it with the arrow, right? And that's the thing about Saggy energy, right? Your arrow always flies true. It always hits its mark, like always, right? The challenge that you have this week is kind of a little bit like, you know, like in the Pirates of the Caribbean, when she says, what, the compass I gave you can't find you this? And she says, okay, so what it is that you don't know what you want. And that is what I feel like the challenge is this week, all right? So it's not that whatever it is that's showing up for you this week, all of the options are they're all going to take you to good spaces. The challenge that you have is you're not quite sure on which way that actually is. And until you make that decision, it's going to be hard, all right? Your actions and options card is the Ace of Pentacles. Get your money! All right, so the fact that you got your actions and options, the Ace of Pentacles, money looks good this week. There is potentially you setting yourself a specific financial target or goal. There is potentially you this week as well cementing or solidifying a financial deal of some sort, which could be really great. This could center around a new business. It could just as easily center around a new home, place or property as well. Now, because you've got the moon card here as well, now, you know, Mars is direct at this point. At the beginning of this week on the 16th, Mars will actually be, you know, it will have finished not only its retrograde, but also its station. So it will actually be direct, which is great. On top of that, on the 18th of this week, Mercury is going to go direct. And then we've got the new moon in Aquarius on the 21st. And then from the 22nd, every single planet in our solar system is going to be direct. That is tidal wave energy. That's a build, right? It's going to be a slow build, but by the time we get to the end of March, there is going to be a crescendo of energy, right? So you want to start riding this wave now. Okay, for your communications and conversations, you've got the Nine of Swords. You got to get out of your head this week, all right? Like, and here's where this gets interesting for me and my little tarot geek brain. The moon card is number 18. 1 and 8 gives you 9. The Nine of Swords is also the number 9. 2 9s represents receipts, right? So in terms of whatever moves you're making, especially of a financial nature, obviously you want to keep your receipt. More importantly, this week would be a really good week to do some research. And what I mean by this is not looking up the company that you're thinking about working for or getting into bed with them, look at what the previous history of that connection, company, in your own history. As an example, because you've got that Ace of Pentacles, let's say you're borrowing money, right? And what is your history of borrowing money? Where are the points where it's been really good for you and it's gone great? Where are the points where it's not been so good and it's kind of gone a bit pear-shaped? Pay attention to past patterns and cycles this week, because they're going to inform you how this week, anything that you set into motion this week or from this week onwards, is likely to go. That Nine of Swords means you've got to get out of your head, because the Nine of Swords itself is already like, and then you've got the Moon card, which is a bit like, so it's like you'll get a double hit of this energy. So if you put that out, it's what you're going to get more of. All right. And this is the thing. That's one of the things that I love about Saggies. They are so clear cut. For a mutable sign, like what you see is what you get. They'll tell you I'm in or I'm out, and that's kind of it. There's no sort of like in between. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there right now that are like, you don't know what you're talking about. That's my experience of Sagittarians. Okay. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, again, remember what I said to you. All options are viable. You just have to pick one. And at the moment, and maybe you're not ready this week. Maybe that is the message, right? There's so many good options this week, you can't pick one. Maybe wait until next week when the energy is a lot clearer for everybody. You might get better results. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, again, when we're talking about patterns and cycles this week, I am going to say, when it comes to the workplace, the confusion that you're feeling doesn't belong to you. And because things are so sort of wishy-washy or watery in the workplace, you might start to falter and think, oh, maybe this isn't where I'm supposed to be. And I don't think that's the case. I actually think you are where you're supposed to be. And if you wait a little longer, you will be much clearer on whether that is the space for you. When it comes to your, oh, come on, brain. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, again, what is available to you and what has happened previously. I would say this week, if you're a business owner or you work for yourself in any capacity, this week, maybe kick back. Maybe just take a step back from it all. It's like, I've done this several times with things to do with work. There's some times where I'm like, okay, I'm working on something and it's like I've worked so hard on it that I'm cross-eyed, my shoulders are hunched over, and it's like, you know what, just put it down. Go take a walk, do something else, go have a bath or whatever. A nice long soak in the tub usually helps. And then come back to it, all right? Like, just don't be afraid to take a step back or to peel back from it this week. When it comes to your home, when it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, especially with the Ace of Pentacles, I wouldn't be surprised this week if a family member hits you up for money and or some kind of financial support. If you have it to give, then do. If this is going to be a loan, I'm going to tell you straight up that money is either not coming back or it's going to come back in dribs and drabs. To save yourself the headache, the Nine of Swords, or any confusion about what this is, consider it a gift or a grant, okay? That way nobody's under any illusions and it doesn't cause any problems. For your love and relations, you've got the Queen of Wands. This is very sexy. You've got the Queen of Wands and you've got the Moon card. So this could be hot, steamy, very sensual. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be very nice. It could also, though, especially with the Nine of Swords, if somebody approaches you as a couple and says, look, I need to borrow this, or I need you to front me some cash, or there might be either you or your partner is kind of saying, no, we've done this before, right? A cycle, a pattern. We've done this for them before and it never gets given back, or there's always a problem, or we're not doing it this time. That's the only caveat I have for this. For those of you that are single, very steamy. I'm going to be honest, with the Moon card and the Nine of Swords, Be very clear. If this is just a one night stand or a hookup or whatever it is, be very clear about that for yourself from the offset, because if you get into this with somebody, they might kind of then, you know, say, well, I thought it was going to be more than that, and you know, and then you're like, okay, now I'm stuck with you for your money and materials. Not that that's a bad thing, but you know, for your money and materials, you've got the Ten of Cups. I love this. There are potentials in every single direction this week. There is potentially Ace of Pentacles with the Ten of Cups, you making a financially very viable deal of some sort. It's just a little shaky with the communication that's going out and coming back, and this comes from the fact that I don't think you're 100% clear on what the end goal is yet. And until you are, it's going to be hard to really keep a manifestation on track. So this week, you've got to get clear. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, look out for your feet, your toes, and your ankles, especially with these two cards, because you've got a double hit of Piscean energy. Pisces rules the feet, but it also rules the hormonal system. So if you've got any challenges in that area of your life anyway, a good time to keep aware of. Now, usually I see this stuff for lymph system. I'm not a doctor, not giving medical advice. I'm not diagnosing anything, just telling you what the energies are saying. For those of you that are, and then when it comes to your home and environment, couldn't ask for a better card. The Ten of Cups is the happy home, right? So the relationship is good. All the options are good. It's just your compass is doing this, you know, and you're just kind of all over the place. Figure out one spot, pull your arrow back and do your thing. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.